Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video is going to be part 6 of my Would I or Wouldn't I series here on my channel. I got this idea after watching Angelica Liramar do this, and of course I will have her channel linked in my description box. What I do is I grab 10 palettes at random out of my collection, I make a little stack, and then I go through these palettes with you guys, letting you know which ones I would repurchase, which ones I would not repurchase, and why. So let's get started with palette number 1, and I do have this palette on my eyelids today. This is the Colourpop Dallas Mavericks palette, and I got this alongside the Boston Celtics palette. I used to be a huge fan of professional basketball. I still am, I just don't watch it as often as I used to. And I used this on my channel before when I did the Rocker Chick group collab. I did a look based on Pat Benatar, and I pulled this palette in for that video. And I love this palette. I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about this, because when I picked this up, I was still not real wild about blue eyeshadows, but because I love the team, I was like, okay, I gotta get this. Now, I'm not usually a sucker for gimmicky palettes, but for this one and the Boston Celtics palette, I was absolutely a huge sucker for these palettes because Rajon Rondo, who is my favorite basketball player, played for both of these teams. I love this shade right here. This is called Mavs. I have this across the lid. Beautiful shimmer. It's kind of a greeny blue combo. So nice. We have this shade here called Dal that I have in my outer corner and on my lower lash line. I also use this to line my upper lid as well. I use this shade here called Royal as my transition shade, and then I use this shade here called the Hanger to blend this shade out. And I also popped a little bit of this called AAC in my inner corner. Beautiful blue color story, but you also have some silvers in here, kind of duochrome, little bit of blue and silver mixed together. Just a really fun color combination, I think. So I would definitely repurchase this palette. And if you like blues, there's some really nice ones in here. The next palette is the Saharan from Juvia's Place. And I just love Juvia's Place palettes. I love the packaging and I really love this color story. It's more neutral, but you do have some nice fun pops of color in here, especially this shade right here. Now, when I first got this palette, I was like, ooh, a red matte, how fun. However, that shows up a little bit more orange on my eyelids, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, I do think it's a very pretty shade. This is a lovely black matte. We have this beautiful gold shimmer and this kind of foresty green satin shade and really nice other shades as well. I love the Juvia's Place formula and quality, and I really enjoy having this in my collection. So yes, I would definitely repurchase this one. The next one is What's the Tea from the Balm Cosmetics, and I love the packaging of this palette. It is so cute. And I got this at Kohl's back when they used to carry the Balm Cosmetics. They don't really carry any of the Balm Cosmetics products at Kohl's, at my Kohl's anyway, anymore. And I was just at Kohl's over the weekend doing some Christmas shopping, and their makeup section looked like a bomb had gone off in it. There were like palettes that had tons of like broken shades all over the floor. They had like lipstick tubes that were halfway open and broken off. I was like, what happened over here? It looked like a wild animal had lost their mind in the makeup section at my Kohl's. But anyway, let's talk about the palette. This is such a fun, more neutral color story, but we do have some really beautiful like teals up here. This is a really pretty duochrome shimmer, kind of some pinky mauves here, really nice dark brown shades. Then you have two different primers. You have a black primer and then this lighter primer here. It's really fun to put the black primer on the lid and then pop a couple of these shimmers over the top of it. These two especially, I've done that a couple of times and it looked absolutely beautiful. I really need to start doing that more often, using like black base and put like duochrome shimmers over the top. It looks so cool. And I really like the formula of this palette. Haven't used it in quite a while, but definitely will be holding on to this one and would definitely repurchase it. Then we have the LA Girl Pro Mastery palette. And I got this, I think, at Target. And I love this palette. Beautiful warm tones in here, kind of winey shades, burgundy, some gold, some kind of peachy pink, some tans. Really fun to put a look together with this palette and a really nice formula. I do have this and a couple of their little quads from LA Girl. Very impressed with how LA Girl shadows perform, at least the shadows that I have in my collection. And I really like having this more warmer toned palette in my collection. I would definitely repurchase this, and I really would like to get more from this brand. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette. And I found this at Marshall's for like, I don't know, 10 bucks, which I thought was a really good deal. I think this is a beautiful, unique, diverse color story. There's a lot of really different things that you can do with this palette. I love the shimmers in this palette. The mattes are really nice too, but I really kind of prefer the shimmers more than the mattes in this palette. Beautiful, really fun color story. And I was really happy that I was able to try this brand. I think this was the first palette I ever got from this brand because, you know, their palettes are a little bit more expensive for my taste. But when you can find them at TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Ross's for half the price, score. And I would definitely repurchase this one. I really like having this unique color story in my collection. And I think the packaging is super cute. Then we have the Seaside palette from CColor. And this is duping the Urban Decay Beached palette, I'm pretty sure. And I just love this color story. I love the browns and the blues and teals as a combo. I think that is such a cool idea. And I'd seen people use the Urban Decay Beach palette on their channels and their videos. And you know, that was maybe a little bit too out of my price range. So I went on the CColor website and saw this one and I thought, ooh, I really want to try this. And it's a really nice quality palette. I mean, I really do like CColor palettes. I know that that's not everybody's favorite brand. I know that some people have a pretty strong issue with brands that dupe other brands' palettes and their color stories. But for me, being a little bit on the cheap side, it's really nice for me to have these options available. I don't think this is probably as good a quality as the Urban Decay palette, but I do think it's very nice. And I've really enjoyed playing with this palette. It's been a while. Getting this out and looking at it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to get this out and create a look with this. And yes, I would absolutely repurchase this palette. Then we have the Profusion Emeralds palette, $5 at my drugstore. And I always lose my mind every time I talk about these palettes on my channel because they're $5 and they work so well. I have several of these. And I love green eyeshadows. They're my favorite eyeshadow color ever. And so I would say that this is probably my favorite Profusion palette that I have. And I like the fact that there are some neutral options in here too. So like if you're not real sure that you want to do an all green look, you want to throw in something else, maybe tone it down a little bit, you can do that with this palette. And I'm telling you, and I know I'm like a broken record here, such great quality. These shadows perform beautifully, the mattes and the shimmers both. Everything about these little palettes, they're just amazing, at least the ones that I have. So yeah, $5. I mean, I would be kind of an idiot not to repurchase this. Definitely, most definitely, I would repurchase this one. Now we have the Violet Voss All of You Forever palette. And I think I got this in a BoxyCharm, I'm pretty sure. And I really do like this color story. You know, it's obviously a more neutral palette, but some really pretty kind of olivey tone shades in here. However, does this really say olive to you? I don't know. There's a couple of olivey shades in here, and then the rest of them are mostly browns. We do have a black matte here. However, I do like the way this palette performs. I like the mattes and the shimmers. I've been really happy with the looks that I've put together with this palette. I do think that Violet Voss makes a very nice eyeshadow formula. I don't know that I would necessarily repurchase this. I mean, I did get it in a BoxyCharm. Let me think about that for a second. I do really like this, but I feel like I do have these shades in other palettes that maybe I like a little bit better. This is hard because I do like the palette, but I don't think I would repurchase this because I kind of already have this color story elsewhere that maybe I like a little bit better. The second to the last palette is the Revealed Smoky palette from Coastal Scents, and this brand is no longer. They closed down, gosh, over a year ago, I think. I think it was after I started my channel or maybe before. So it's either been a year to 2 years since they closed down. I love the fact that it's more cooler shades. It's very smoky. I would say that. Decent quality. I mean, I don't think it's the best cool toned palette that I have in my collection, but it's decent. It's nice. Now, would I repurchase this? I don't think that I would because I feel like I do have better cool tone palettes in my collection, like the Stone Cold Fox. I mean, I would much rather, and I would pull that out way before I would pull this one out. So this one, I'm sorry to say, I would not repurchase. The last palette is the Beauty Bay Bright palette. And my dear friend, my soul sister, and my subscriber, Cheryl, recommended that I give this palette a try. And I am so glad I picked up this palette. I went onto the Beauty Bay website. I think they were having a sale. I'm pretty sure I got this on sale because that's typically what I do, how I roll. And this is just lovely. So many fun rainbow options in here. I mean, I really feel like this palette provides you everything you could possibly want in a rainbow palette. The mattes are so pigmented, they blend out so beautifully, and the shimmers are really nice shimmer formula. You know, I'm a little older, I have a little bit of textures, some wrinkles on my eyelids, and these shimmers lay really nicely over the top of my lids. I would say they're maybe a little bit softer, but they definitely are pigmented and pack a punch, but they're just not texture emphasizing is how I feel. And I know that not everybody loves the Beauty Bay formula, but I'm really happy with this palette. I love having it, and I absolutely would repurchase this, and I'm so happy that Cheryl recommended this palette to me. So there you have it. Those are the 10 palettes that I chose at random out of my collection to film part 6 of my Would I or Wouldn't I series. And I really need to thank Angelica Larimar for giving me this wonderful idea. And of course, like I said at the beginning, I will have her channel linked in my description box. And out of the 10 that I chose this time, there were 2 that I said I would not repurchase, right? The Coastal Scents and then the Violet Voss one. The Violet Voss one, I'm not real sure about. I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of wish I maybe said I would repurchase that. I don't know. I have that color story elsewhere, and it really does not say olive to me. But I don't need to sit here and analyze it forever. We're going to be here for way longer than we need to be. I would love to know if you guys have any of these palettes, what you think of them, if you would repurchase them or not. Let's talk about that in the comment section. My goal was to get through all of these parts of this series by the end of the year. And then I really wanted to finish out the year of 2022 with my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video. But there's just no way I'm going to get to that. First of all, I have way too many palettes. Number 2, I have way too many collab videos scheduled coming up. So I just kind of ran out of time to film. You know, the holidays are coming. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with family, going to be taking a break from filming. So maybe what I will do is end the month of January with my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video. We shall see. And I hope to see you guys again in part number 7. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you very soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Drop it.